You are tuning in to the You Are Loved podcast, where we hope to bring love and kindness to the world.
Welcome to another episode of You Are Loved, where I have the amazing Traci Morgan, who is with us today. Welcome, Traci. So happy for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We were talking yesterday about resume resurrection, so I figured I would title it today, Resurrecting the Resume of Your Life, right? Because you do coaching and stuff like that. So just to throw this out there, Traci, share a little bit about your story and your background, because I'm getting a lot of feedback. Hold
on. Okay. Are you getting feedback on my end?
No, just me.
Okay. All right. So I bring 25 years of talent acquisition, human resources experience, basically aspects of recruiting, employer branding, and so forth has been my background. And it's actually led me into becoming, I'm actually a certified coach, speaker, and trainer under John Maxwell team. However, I had already been doing career coaching and development, professional development as a whole throughout my career. And what I did with that, I took my experience and decided, you know what, I want to take this to another level. And so I decided to become certified as a coach, because so many people constantly come to me, not just about rewriting their resumes, but literally also career coaching, and it turns into life coaching. And that's actually what I've been doing.
That's awesome. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if my friend can check it out, make sure there's no feedback when she's listening to it on YouTube. So that's exciting. I know that you've helped me with my resume a time or two, and I know that you're going to be putting some programs and stuff like that together. So can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, I'm actually looking to put some master classes together in regards to career strategy as a whole, which will include resume writing tips. In addition to that, those who are looking to just expand their personal and professional development, I have classes that are available in those areas. So, being able to overcome and manage conflict resolution, understanding your purpose and how your purpose is connected to your career. Also classes, from the HR perspective for individuals who are new within management or really want to understand a manager role and best practices. For instance, when it comes to interviewing, do you know if, as a manager, if you are asking illegal questions? So those are the type of things that I have in the pipeline right now for just having more offerings that are for everyone out there who needs my type of help.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like how the companies, they get around it, like trying to figure out what someone's race is and stuff like that. And when they have like the EEOC questions and they're like, oh, this is for government purposes. I'm like, okay, but you're telling me you're not using any of this at all for any hiring decisions? Like, okay.
So let me say this. Oh, you stepped up. Okay. And I love it. So technically what happens when those questions are being asked, a company is they're technically receiving aspects of tax write-off, the different types of grants out there and so forth. And it's a part of what falls under OFCCP. And that is, yes, making sure candidates are not being discriminated against. Now, at the same time, Yes, there are companies who utilize that information because they want to make sure they are truly having a diversified workforce, diversified employees. Sometimes, yes, I can say I know I've questioned as an HR professional of why is certain information needed, because I've seen completing applications myself, questions that to me go beyond your typical EEO type of questions. And I literally paused with submitting those applications because the light bulb went off. I'm just like, okay, I know what normal questions are, but this is getting a little too personal and it has nothing to do with my qualifications. So you know
Right.
what? Let me just back away and turn the other direction and not even submit this application.
Yeah. 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 That's true. So you are a amazing business owner. You've tapped into a lot of different things. Your one core has definitely been around helping individuals succeed in their careers and their professional life. And you recently moved back to help with your elderly mom and to be that caretaker for her as well. And so we know a lot of times when the roles are reversing, especially like with, my dad, right? Because my mom's a little bit easier because she's fully disabled and she doesn't have much to say in anything. But my dad, he's spicier, right? So it's interesting how when the roles start to reverse and stuff like that. So, um, how are you balancing a lot of this, like with your career, with your business, and then also with having a mom who needs, extra attention and stuff like that, in whatever way that is?
Oh, yes, you and I have had some discussions, these teenage parents of ours. So,
Yeah,
um, my balance literally, I had to really start paying attention to what I could actually put on my plate. Like when people ask me at this point, everyone says financial freedom, time freedom. But when I speak about that time freedom, is also to be able to spend more quality time with my mom,
yeah,
not to have, the stress behind, oh, I have to work this amount of hours and then bring her into the mix with everything we have going on. So with what I do when it comes to that balance, when I say scheduling, I mean, and I don't have it up here with me because it's downstairs, your wonderful planner,
yeah,
already filling things up. Like literally I am a structured person. I leave room for, you got to leave flexibility and the wiggle room. So scheduling is very important to me, keeping that form of structure. But then also that means I'm scheduling my personal time. That literally, when my little thing is I'm going to the lake. I'm
yeah,
going to, that's peace, that's tranquility for me. That's time to get my thoughts, frustrations. If I got to cry about something, everything, I'm going to the lake. Going to the gym for me is therapeutic. Yes, benefit is healthier weight loss. However, that's a stress reliever for me, mainly because my gym has a dry sauna and a steam sauna.
oh, that's awesome.
So putting all of that, that's how I look to balance things. And then also, like you, there are some people that I have that are assist me with things. I don't like to say like delegation per se, but they are helping me with things, whether it's with stuff here at the house as a whole, or hey, can you do this? Help me with my mom with this. Could you come by and do this? It's really being open and letting the pride go and saying, yeah, I do need help. I do want to find balance and do this in the right way with career and personal life. So it all comes together. But having a form of structure for myself has definitely been important, and truly having time for myself. That's one of the things I had learned, how I was getting burnt out so much prior. I really was not taking care of Traci.
Yeah.
I appeared as if I was, but it started registering. Why am I burnt out? Why do I want to sleep all the time and not do stuff? Because I wasn't balanced. And it was like, let me get out of this heaviness of whatever's trying to come in and get on the right track.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of like part of that is starting the day. For us, it would be in the word.
Yes.
For other people, it'd be like meditation or whatever.
Mhm.
But it's like spending that day in the word, spending your first few moments. Like I listen to like uh, Pastor Rick out of California
Okay.
and Joyce Myers and like a couple of other Bible podcasts that go through like a specific scripture and then read a Bible journal thing that I have that I found when I was searching for different journals as we were creating our 21-day transformational journal to get a good idea. And so stuff like that, then I'm like, I feel guilty if I miss a morning. I'm not totally consistent with it, but I do my best. But I'm definitely consistent with the audio, but not like the reading as I'm getting better. But and speaking with we had Cam on, and speaking with Cam, and one of the things is she's really great at is time boundaries. So I think it helps with when it comes to like getting have that time set aside with your mom.
You went out just a little from your mic.
Time setting. It's great for setting time aside for your mom, like with time boundaries, you know?
Yes, yes. So, for instance, for me, Thursdays are my mom's days. Well, it's a combination, but I give focus like, hey, if you have any appointments, let's put them on Thursdays. She doesn't know it, but we're going out to dinner tonight. So,
Nice.
take her, stuff like that to help her get out the house, and just have fun. I mean, I even got her sitting at the lake. Now, to get my mom to say, well, let's just go up and sit at the lake and you can just go out and do your walk and I'll sit in the truck. What? Is this my mom? So, but it helps, like you said, with the time boundaries. And for me, I said, for right now, Thursdays basically is mom's day.
Yeah.
And so, and it helps.
That's great. That's great. And it's a blessing that you've been able to go back, because I know you had to you left Georgia, went to Texas, which is great. I'm so jealous. I would have always loved to have lived in Texas at some point, hopefully. Even if I just have like a summer home there. I don't know.
You're ready for the heat.
I'm from South Florida, and I live in Atlanta.
That's different. That's humid tropical. You're like, no.
Oh, why is Texas more dry heat or something?
Texas is dry.
Oh, okay.
It's more dry. Now, when you get, of course, down more towards Houston, like getting closer to the Gulf, yes, it's definitely humid. But I was in Dallas, so it was like, where are the trees?
And then, yeah, you left, not like Georgia, right? Because Georgia has a ton of trees everywhere. It's so pretty here.
Yep.
So from there to Dallas, and which God led you over there, and then back to I think your hometown, right?
Yep, Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yeah. So that's great, Traci. So how was it like when you left Texas? Were you kind of like sad, or were you excited, or like how was that when you were moving back?
Okay, I know the title of the name of this is You Are Loved. I was not feeling loved. I was the moment of God, what's going on here? You told me what's happening. So real talk, I was upset. Because things were definitely picking up. Business wise, was starting to date, get, finally back on the dating scene, like, oh, got a little personal life going, the whole nine. And what actually happened, I was in the interview process when I worked for particular environmental company. And every time I would talk to my mom, I said, something's off. Like, something's being hidden.
Yeah.
What's going on? So at that time, come to find out, one of my godmothers had been diagnosed with cancer. She was in her last stages. So that's a part of what triggered for me to come home, because they waited to tell me because I was going through my interview process. And I then came home, was able to spend the last 2 weeks with her before she transitioned. While being home, I'm paying attention, like, what's going on with my mother? What's going on with the property and these properties, and what's happening here? And I was able to see she's not been telling us everything.
Of course, yeah.
You know, yes, I would come home 4 times a year, but people have a way of hiding things from you.
Yeah.
And so when I got here and saw everything, when I say Holy Spirit was on me, like, knock, knock. We opening your eyes up. You need to come on home. And I was hurting. I don't want to do it because, again, for me, a part of my mindset at the time, I'm going back to a small college town. I've gotten used to larger cities. What's going to be, everything was going. And then also it was, what's going on with my mom? What is happening here? And of course, it was like, Traci, your parents get older. I'm like, I know, but she carries and operates in this level of independence where it was, oh my gosh, I'm seeing her slow down.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And how God did my transition. I think I'm not certain if you were aware, I literally drove back and forth 3 times from Texas to North Carolina moving.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, so that's why when I was saying, when a lot of people didn't know I was really back home, especially the first 2.5 years, I was going back and forth, but it was so much, that type of travel. Like, I had literally just renewed my lease like the week prior. They would not, come to find out, they had switched management companies. So had not a clue. I get there, try to see if I can come out. I have to move back to North Carolina. No, we can't do it. Let me tell you how God moves. And this is why I tell people, be obedient, even if you just crying in the tears, like, okay, God. One of my dear friends ended up subleasing from me. He and I had never met each other face to face. Because he was in Kansas City, Missouri. He happened to be in town, and he said, Traci, when we go hang out? I'm looking for my apartment. I said, what do you mean? I didn't know you had made the decision to move. And I said, are you serious right now? Are you messing with me, John? And of course, he's like, I'm so serious. And I was like, I need to sublease my place. Like, I have to move within a week or 2. My furniture is remaining. I just need to get home to North Carolina.
Yeah.
When he came 4 hours later to see my place, that was our first time meeting each other face to face, but had known each other for about 8 years. It was
over Facebook or whatever. Yeah.
We met through actually a previous client of mine.
Oh, okay.
And John and we just happened to do some business together, and we just became that's like a brother to me. When he walked in that door, you would have thought we had known each other forever. And even his sister was like, y'all are just meeting each other? And I was like, yeah. When I say he walked in like, hey, Traci, bypassed me as if he had been there several times, walked my entire floor plan, went out on the balcony, the whole 9. And he said, just give me a moment. He was like, I need to pray. I said, oh, not a problem. He came back. He was like, when do you need your deposit, your rent due, blah, 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 blah. I was like, is this happening this fast?
Yeah,
So
that's how God works.
when I say how he worked, even when it came to selling off all my stuff, I came back with whatever I could get in my car. Same way I had left Atlanta to go. What can get in here is what's coming with me. And that's how it's been. God just moved, and it showed me on a different aspect of understanding the different times we have the different transitions in life.
Yeah.
And what may seem like a fall back. You know, it wasn't just moving here. It was, I ended up having to resign from working for Citibank. I had to resign because where I thought, oh, I'm just going to be going back and forth. I'm not moving back to North Carolina. When they said we can't allow you to work 100% remote like that, unless you're in Dallas, had to resign. So much happened where I was just like, what is going on? And I just kept seeing,
it's like, why does it matter if you're remote in another state? That's just so stupid.
It's because sometimes if they need you to get into the office for something, you're actually there and they don't have to come out of pocket for additional expenses.
I got you.
Mm-hmm. But that's how I got here. And being that obedience, it hurt. A dear friend of mine who's a minister, she was like, Traci, I know you don't want to leave. I know you just started dating such and such and this and that, because he wasn't moving. So it was like, I got to end a relationship. I got to do these things. I've had to resign. What's happening here? And all I keep hearing is trust the process. And how it's just been opening the doors. It's showing me a greater aspect of what provision is from God. Provision is more than just the roof over your head and so forth. Is the peace to be able, and the strength to know I can get this assignment done. I may not understand what's happening, and it's a new journey each day, but I'm trusting you, God. I'm trusting that your love is so strong for me, even though I don't know what's going on, because even business had to be on pause for a while. I don't know where the finances are coming in, God, but I know you got me. And here I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Like with your experience with, aspects of what you've been doing with caretaking, what we've discussed, it's a difference in how you think, the whole nine. How is that affected with you?
Well, I go back and forth, but I have, my family's there to help take care of my mom. And so that's a little bit different, but I do go back to be able to care for her.
Mm-hmm.
But what's crazy is God came to me in a dream last night.
Oh, wow.
And it's been in regards to my family. And he was like, basically, like, this is all the family you have left. That's it. I have my parents. And then I have my dad's half brother and his wife. And their 2 daughters. And then the one baby. That's blood, like, and they're like half related.
Right.
Well, when I was trying to think of like other I have my half sister, but she's not around, and she's very toxic, and she's like victim, like very victim oriented. I love her, but we have no relationship. And God really, like, they've really been there to, like, my aunt does an amazing job taking care of my mom and stuff like that.
Okay.
But my uncle is like super toxic. And I've just been battling with that and wanting to figuring out how to be the right Christian and right person in that relationship. You know what I mean?
Right.
And battling between wanting to fully cut them off and holding resentment and anger. But that's like my pride and ego and stuff like that. Like, how dare you, to not knowing what it means to fully love someone, I guess. I guess that's what it is. I'm about to cry.
It's okay, sis.
Even when they are like fully toxic and stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I like when I'm in town and stuff, I'm not around very much. So my mom, I'll take a date my mom out and stuff like that, but I just don't like to be around it. So it's hard.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm figuring that out, but like, I don't want to, and my dad doesn't want to leave Alabama. He doesn't want my mom move up there. And so, my parents have put me in a precarious situation where I'm spread between two separate states, and where I would have to give up everything, right? Like, I guess you did, to move back home. And I just haven't made that sacrifice yet. So I've been able to keep it kind of easy peasy. The sacrifice would be like, I already have everything like in South Florida set up with my mom's Medicare, with extra care with the state and with different things like that. Okay. So it's hard. And then the only other provision would be to move my mom to Alabama, and then she'd be away from. It's me trying to please everybody, so I just sacrifice myself. Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
So can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
You do what Holy Spirit is guiding you to do, because this is also going to be a part of, because you said something that needed to be vocalized, and it's, acknowledgement is the first step in the healing process. Hand them over to God.
Yeah.
Truly hand them over, because many times when we've been hurt and not understanding there are worse things that can be taking place, to be able to say, I can't love them. They did A, B, C, D. And the reason why I say truly hand it over, it makes me think of a testimony from one of my previous pastors. And it was how he said what operating in love is. And that is loving, extending love when something is truly unlovable. And the example he gave was something no one ever knew. When he was younger, his cousin was murdered. When they went and picked up the cousin's car, the people put her in her own trunk. The family made him responsible for cleaning out the car. So for him, it was, God, how you telling me to love somebody who murdered my family member, and I'm sitting here seeing her blood come out with this water, the cleansing. And how he just really broke that down, it ministered to me in a deeper way, because I've been there with lack of support from certain family members that should, in my opinion, that should be here, shouldn't have to ask questions. And it's not even just always the help with my mother. Is I've been home how long, and you've never called to just see how I'm doing? Mm-hmm. The mental health, the mental and so forth behind all of that, because all of that comes into place. So even in your situation, as you are going through that forgiveness, because that forgiveness is for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what I truly learned in the process of everything, and it was actually Miss Pam who said it to me about a month ago. She said, well, it's evident this is your assignment and not theirs,
Mm.
because you're the one equipped for it.
Leave it to Pam to like.
And you know, I had the phone like, you know, that facial expression.
Yeah.
So that part, it just made me even think even greater when it comes to obedience, because something is already in us that's equipped to take on the task. We have to get through the emotional part. That's our soul, our mind, will, and emotions. We have to get through that emotional part. You don't think how many times I was in here crying and upset, like, well, I gotta move, and this is going on, and I literally was like, God, I feel like I'm in a Hallmark. What's the not Hallmark?
Lifetime.
Lifetime. I kept saying,
Yeah.
like, this is a Lifetime movie. I moved back to the small college town and trying to figure stuff out, and at the same time, life is happening, and it's like, what's really going on here? But in the midst of all this, you want to know what it's also helped me with? Reevaluating. You know, we're talking about resurrecting the resume of life. It's helped me reevaluate true priorities. It's helped me reevaluate and understand what legacy truly is, and how I'm moving forward in that. You know, if you want to go there, you know, resurrection typically means something's coming back from being dead. It's had to be revived. Let's just real talk. And there are many times in our lives where we're needing to be revived. Whether it's we can feel God doing the compressions, telling us, breathe, child, I got you. I put life in you. And then there are times where it's like, Lord, I feel like I've been in the fiery furnace and the operating table, and you still there. You love me. You still there. I'm really going through this. It's equipping you. I just told somebody, I know I said it at first last year, but I was very real. I was like, I really feel me coming home, and especially cohabitating, because I've never cohabitated with a man before. The way cohabitating, and so just different things that have come in my life and changes. I was up front, and I even told Pam, I said, I feel like I'm being prepared for marriage. And of course went into why, but a part of that also it's been a part of the process, and that obedience. Coming home. So if you're being led to make that transition back to Florida, all is well. All is taken care of.
I don't know about that, because then I would be taken too far away from my dad. But what the transition would be me moving my mom up to Alabama and finding a place to live with her there.
Is she open to that?
I have no idea, because my mom can't communicate. So she's the second stroke that she had a year later, which, by the way, she's been, praise God, 6 years stroke free.
Amen.
Yeah. So with her, she lost her ability to be able to, her right side, and then her ability to be able to like fully speak full words. She can say, she has some comprehension, but not a great deal, but she does have some. And then, because we know her, we're around her, and we see her facial expressions. Like, if she's not thinking about it, she can shake her head no. But if you tell her to say no, she can't do it. And then you can just tell her different yeahs. Huh?
That command response.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I have a question regarding that. How has this process for you helped you with deeper discernment to understand your mom if she's physically nonverbal? Besides different signs that we see, but like there are times, like when my mom was sick and couldn't speak, there were things I was just picking up, just looking at her. It was like I could, as if I could hear her. Like, okay, let me do this. So how has that been like with you and your mom?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that question. How has it like been being able to just pick up like her signs and stuff like that, or like her cues and stuff? Is that what you're asking me, or?
Not necessarily cues, but really being able to discern when things are just that deeper discernment of something's off and needs to be done. Like that's like what's happened with me.
I would say in the beginning, like when my mom had her first stroke and stuff like that, like I realized that she had a stroke where the rehab facility she was at did not know. So I'm the one, and that was like a complete debacle. Yeah, it was, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, and so I was like, no, this is not right. So like when something's wrong with my mom, like I'm there at the hospital fighting, like I'm talking to them. I'm like, yes to this, no, to this. Cause there's certain things like medications or whatever, or preventative stuff that they try to give someone when they're already sick that I don't approve of.
Okay.
So I just don't allow that to happen. And just fighting with them and just making sure that my mom is okay. That's like my biggest thing, is just making sure my mom's good, you know?
Okay.
But outside of that, like I honestly stay a bit emotionally disconnected, because I feel like if I allow too much, then I'd really start like losing it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but there's times when I'm like in with my mom. I guess I'm missing her right now. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
When I'm in the room with my mom and changing her from out of her diaper and stuff, sometimes I would get like really annoyed or angry because like, why is she sick? You know what I mean? And then I'm like, you know what? I get this opportunity to be able to clean my mom and bathe her and be there for her. And like, I had promised her when I was younger that I would never put her in a nursing home. And like, I'm so thankful that like through the pandemic and stuff like that, that she was not, because I don't think that I would still have her, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if I could share anything with anyone, it's like, even though like my mom is still here, there's still a lot of missed opportunities that I had when my mom could still communicate, of things I could have asked her or to get to know her better. Like I know my mom is a child, but I don't really have that emotional connection with her as like a friend or a human. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because there's a difference. Like when you're a kid and that relationship you have with your parents, it's like a completely different dynamic. And you can fall in love with your parents again when you have an opportunity to build like an adult style type of relationship and build that closeness and that compassion and that really like you would with like your best friend, you know? I think with our parents and asking them questions and wanting to get to know them better as they were children, and really and discover who they are, you know, as people. I think a lot of times as kids, we're just so selfish as children and only thinking about ourselves and how our parents are supposed to take care of us and how they're supposed to just do whatever. And then I really kind of just went into processing mode and mode for just moving forward and getting stuff done. You know what I mean?
Right.
And not really saying, okay, and building. And I really have to like, and I have an issue with being vulnerable. So that's made it harder. So I try to do that more with my dad because I still have that opportunity with him. And I'm thankful for that. and really just kind of getting that more closeness. You know what I mean?
Right.
With my dad. So, but yeah, but it's hard with my mom. It's hard to allow myself to get open because I just wish it, like I've had dreams that we were talking, you know? Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. So
how dare you make me cry, Tracy?
I just asked a question.
I know.
But I want
I'm
to
just
say,
kidding.
I know. So let's remember part of a definition of resurrection is actually restoration of life.
Yeah.
So as you were just talking in regards to part of your healing journey of what this has been doing with you, with your mom, especially knowing her as an adult that you are, and her truly knowing you as a woman. You know, we're their daughter, because this is a part of some freedom I had to have. I kept saying, I'm her child. You're not a child. A child is an age range and a mindset. You're her daughter, and you're her adult daughter. So what about looking at this as the resurrection that's taking place is there's life being restored at an adult age of learning each other to move forward as who you are as the adult Jacqueline, as the woman. You know, she may be nonverbal right now. And I'm going to say this, your faith, the fact that you had the dream, yes, dreams can be interpreted different ways. Because I know you and your faith walk and what you're believing for that to come to pass of her talking again.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it. What if that was prophetic? God is showing you.
I mean, that would be a blessing for sure.
The restoration, being restored.
That would be a blessing. Of course, I would want that. That's one of the things I always pray for.
Right. So,
and for my dad to give his life to Christ. That's the other one. If I can only have two things in my life, it's not my business. It's not anything. It's my mom being able to walk and talk, or at least communicate. And for my dad, because my mom already loves Jesus, and for my dad to turn his life over to Christ. Those are the two biggest things. It's two major things that I want.
It's going to happen as long as that aligns up with what they desire.
Yeah.
But no, I just hearing you, and like I said, I understand. You know, my father is passed away, and my bonus father is passed as well.
Yeah.
So I've gone through that. I'm just looking, when you were talking, I just kept hearing restoration of life is taking place. And restoration doesn't always mean going back to its original state. Something can be restored, but it's improved and better than before. And many, again, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, go through. You got to go to the process. Jesus was on the boat. He said, I told y'all we're going to the other side. I sleep in the storm. I'm going to sleep because I sleep real good in the rain. Y'all up here concerned. I said we're going to the other side. Now I got to come out and perform a miracle, because where's your faith? Yeah. But the point of that is you're going through the process. This happens to be a life process that's been chosen to help restore that newness of life for you, that forgiveness, even with the people that are toxic, how we handle them truly in love. Yeah. Not having to shut emotions down and, let me cut my emotions off of this. No, I'm going to feel this. and you may feel a little bit of what I'm feeling. But you know what? We're gonna communicate in a respectful manner. If it has to be tears to come out, if we got to step away for a moment, I'm gonna be restored. My peace is gonna be greater.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I'm saying all of this to you. I just want you to know there are ways to even look at this in a different way, to see this is a part of your healing process.
Yeah.
Me coming back home, it wasn't just because again, talking to Pam, it wasn't just coming back to Greensboro. I recognized it was coming back to certain environments. Yes, a part of it was coming back to this house. It's not knocking house, but there were traumatic things that took place. We all have traumas that took place. Mm-hmm. I had to heal those areas. I had to speak to 7-year-old Traci, who ran away to New Jersey with her sister. Well, I was 8 years old because I was going into 3rd grade. Traci, who used to do crazy stuff. It was actually where I started learning about my spiritual gifts being in this house. I later realized what was happening. I was discerning. I learned I'm a hearer and I'm somewhat of a seer. I was hearing things. Okay. And so how I had to learn how to pray at an early age and cover myself. The healing that has taken place. There's a picture I used to have up. It's not here at my desk. It was my 6th grade picture I used to have right here on my laptop, because I realized there were some traumatic things that went place, and I had to come into my desk and looking at that picture. You are great, Traci. You are wonderful. I had to see myself and speak to myself. That's a greater aspect for me of restoration. When I looked at it, I said, God, how you gonna turn my office, my space, from being my first bedroom in this house? You know, those type of things I paid attention to. And I just saw my healing process through it all. Trust me. You tell me what sibling. You tell me someone that you know who ran away, had enough money saved up in their piggy bank to get 2 Greyhound tickets and a cab to go to New Jersey. I didn't know we were running away. I just knew, hey, I get to go see my pop. I'm getting ready to go see Poppy. I spent time with Nana and Pop. Yeah. Not realizing I was about to start school. I had literally started school up in New Jersey. The whole 9.
And how old was your sister?
If I was
8,
she was going on 16, because in the state of North Carolina, you have to be 16 years old to say who you want to live with. And that's when she chose, as soon as she turned 16, a few weeks later, she was out. She was moved to New Jersey. And like for me, I went from having my sibling in the home. A lot of people don't understand the effects of certain changes. I went from having my sister in the home to basically being the only child.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, my bonus siblings would come, but it's like, you come during the summertime or maybe a holiday here and there.
Yeah. And
then I felt like I was competing for my mom's attention because my mom became a bonus mom.
Yeah.
That tapped into even greater, just even on how I had to later learn my mom's love language. To know greater, I am loved. She had to change her time up a little bit because one of my bonus sisters were 3 months apart. Literally. So it was just like, who taking my mama?
Yeah.
You know, and just seeing how all of this has come full circle as a whole, you know, and even sitting and talking with my mom sometimes and reflecting on just life, I'm seeing how just her life is, she's been having aspects of resurrection taking place.
Mm.
To hear her say, I don't want to do this such and such anymore. I don't, it's like, wait a minute, what? Not you. You know, wait a minute. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to try this new thing. Who is this woman? Who is this woman? Okay. Okay. So that's why I say, with what you're doing, yes, the current goal is assisting with parents. At the same time, I see it as it's a healing, a deeper healing for you as well, a deeper restoration taking place in your life.
Yeah.
Because it's going to stretch us. It stretches us how we stay positive. It stretches our confidence to make sure, am I making the right decision for my family member, get along myself, all of those types of things.
Yeah.
And that's for your growth.
Yeah. My mom has a great,
You are restored.
Thank you. And you are loved, Traci.
I love you too, Sugar Plum.
I wonder, like, my mom has like all of her doctors. It's all pretty much set up and stuff down there. And then my dad has some stuff. Like, he's got his primary care physician, which he's got a great relationship with. They're great. But like, I would just say, I want to pray. And I would say, if you pray for me later, just pray that God just gives me the wisdom to know what I need to do. Because, you know, I was looking at selling my mom's house, but buying something down there for her. But still, that's keeping me, and because that keeps me, then I'd move down there and I'd be so far from my dad. My dad really needs me right now. So, and so I'm just wondering if that I'm supposed to just move her with me. And then I was like, oh, like when I was talking to you, and I was like, oh, well, we've already got stuff set up with her Medicare and all that stuff. But it's like, God's like, I'm your provider, not the government. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that was like the thought that came into my head, and that would be easy to transition some stuff over, and I would think, I don't know, but I don't know. I'm gonna see, I guess, what the process is. I don't know, and then I would be giving up my life here in Atlanta. And I felt like I haven't even had it here for the last year. So I finally got to be home for a couple months, but I guess I'll just be praying to see what the Lord wants for the first of the year.
Have you thought about fasting?
I haven't, but I can for sure, because I have before. I usually do like a 3-day fast.
Take it out of your comfort zone. See, however Holy Spirit leads you. And remember, fasting is not always food. Fasting could be social media, TV, people. Fasting could be doing a completely new routine to let something go. So that's just what I heard. So consider fasting to get that clarity. And for me, I'm definitely going to always pray for you. My core thing is, yes, wisdom, but what's most important is what the word tells us, to have understanding.
Yeah.
We have all the wisdom in the world, but if we don't have the right understanding and how we are to apply that wisdom to whatever situation, we're going to start becoming double-minded.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I just want to know the right thing to do is what I'm saying.
Right.
So, yeah.
So again, because I know what I went through and the emotions behind behind it all. I don't think I've cried like that since going through the grief process. But actually, that was a form of grief because you're going to go through, you're starting, it's not a bad grief, but you're grieving the change that's taking place. You're having to make a decision. Just know this decision is only going to be for a certain time period. And again, you don't know the blessing and the glory on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah.
So move forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're talking to somebody who had to leave a 6-figure salary, bonus eligible position to come back to North Carolina. Like, okay, business, need you to pick on up.
Yeah.
And then when God said, Traci, step into this retail. What? But what has happened with everything behind it?
Okay.
That obedience. And again, I am seeing restoration of life taking place. The internal resurrecting.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to pray about it and fast. Food fast works for me. It's harder for me to do a food fast than it is other stuff. I don't watch TV anymore anyway. So,
You're on social media, aren't you?
that's hard because I have to do all my business and stuff is all in there. We have to post. But podcast would be a thing that I could negate for 3 days because I'm always listening to podcasts. Like just no podcasts, or that would probably be hard. No podcasts and no Audible books or anything like that. And then just like reading a physical book and getting in the word more. So that would be more of a challenge than probably food as well. Cause I love listening to podcasts and I always have to be entertained.
Whatever that sacrificial lamb. Like that's what I had to learn for me. Social media actually was one of my fasts. I didn't realize it. It's especially like I had to put alerts in my phone saying no social media to go off throughout the day.
Yeah.
Because, people, we'll send stuff to each other like, oh, check this out here and here. And it was like, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be out here.
Yeah.
So, yes. So, but you're going to do just fine and you're going to have the clarity. And I want you to know I'm going to say this real quick because I just saw the timing. I want you to know how proud I am of you. I have seen your growth in so many ways regardless of circumstances that have come your way. Mm-hmm. You always come out on top. You are definitely a prayer warrior. You are a woman of virtue. And you are greatness. And you are a queen. And I'm very particular with how I speak.
Yeah.
I'm asking you to allow your new crown to be placed on. That new crown means there are new assignments, new territory, but it also means there's greater anointing, greater power and blessings. And I just want you to know that, Queen Jacqueline.
I appreciate it, Traci. Thank you. It's hard for me to accept compliments, so I appreciate that. Okay. So I feel like praying right now, but we're not going to do that. We're going to so can you at least let the audience know, and this has been amazing. I just really appreciate our conversation. This is probably one of the most vulnerable I've been on a podcast, I really try to keep it very controlled. And so I appreciate you for that. And so we definitely want to let people know where they can reach you as I can, hopefully people can see that if they do work with you on a project for consulting, for resumes, for whichever career opportunities, that they know that they will be working with someone who truly cares, is honest, is transparent, is sincere, and will have their best interest at heart, and know that they'll be working with a very loving, kind person. So that's what I wanted to say.
Well, thank you. I enjoy what I do. God allowed me to go through and being a career strategist and a career coach. And he's moved me to being more of a transformation coach. I don't like to say life coach, transformation coach. So I do both sides of it. And this is what I'm purposed to do. So I thank you for having me.
Do you want to just give your link at all, like where people can find you?
Sure. I am at www.tnmcgroup.com. So Tango Nancy Michael Charles Group.com is where they can find me. They can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm more active on LinkedIn when it comes to doing a lot of posts, and I'm starting now to transition more to Instagram. But on LinkedIn, I'm listed as Traci, Traci N Morgan, MBA. Is I'm where I'm listed there.
MBA.
Yep.
On oh, that's your name, but that's not like your LinkedIn profile.
So instead of giving all of the LinkedIn, it's just easy because with LinkedIn is linkedin.com/IN, and then it goes into your handle. So it's just better to look me up by name, Traci N Morgan, MBA, not N.
M as in Michelle.
Yep.
All right. Hold on a second. Let's get that worked out really quick.
Thank you.
For Masters of Business Administration, you have your master's, Traci?
Yes, I was a double major.
Oh, wow.
International Business and Global Human Resource Management.
Oh, that's awesome. I had no idea.
Thank you.
That about you. You worked hard for that.
I did.
Okay. And then this is your website, right? The tnmcgroup.com?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's amazing. Everyone, please go check her out. And I do want to say one last thing. We are going to be doing a bundle on our You Are Loved store. If you go, you'll be able to see we have a bundle happening with our 18-month planner. And it is an 18-month planner with our mastermind class that we're going to be offering. And we'd love for you guys to come to us about that. Please give us, check it out on our website. Thank you so much. And thank you, Traci, for coming on. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have an amazing, amazing day. Okay.
Thank you for having me. And I love my You Are Loved planner. Get the 18-month planner, all of the tidbits, the inspiration, everything that's there. And it has plenty of writing space.
Yeah.
If you know planners and want to be organized, I love it. So get your You Are Loved planner.
Thank you, love. Okay. Have a good day, Traci.
You too.
Right. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of You Are Loved. If you have any topic ideas or would like to be a guest on the show, please hit us up on Instagram at youareloved.store.